Today's podcast is brought to you by Mechanics Bank. Mechanics Bank is here to help you with everyday life, whether that's buying a home, renovating a kitchen, or paying for college. They have the products and, more importantly, the people to help you breathe easy and say, that's better. Check out mymechanics.com, call or visit today to see how they can make banking better for you. Mechanics Bank is an equal housing lender. This is the Open Mic Podcast, and I'm joined by fellow BG graduates, Moths In The Attic. I'm super excited to have you guys in, all the way from Bowling Green State University, of course. And I'm joined today by Zach Fletcher, Mike Williams, and Kevin Jory. How are you guys doing today, boys?
Doing great.
Yeah?
We're good now.
Yeah, feeling real good.
Awesome. Well, we had a mic check before we started playing, so we're going to have some live music, and it was amazing already, just a sound check. Talk to me a little bit about what you guys are doing here tonight, and talk to me a little bit about what you've experienced so far. I understand you guys had a little bit of a vacation, if you will, in Mansfield already.
Yeah, so we're here for the day. Went to the Reformatory.
Yeah, the historic Ohio Reformatory, or Ohio State Reformatory, excuse me.
Yes, so that was pretty amazing. We're, I guess the main purpose, what we scheduled everything around was we're playing the Phoenix Brewing Company tonight. So, and we were able to work out this podcast, which is awesome. And then, we did a little sightseeing this morning.
Yes, we did. A little coffee on the road.
Okay.
Couple ghosts as well.
Okay. You saw a ghost?
I didn't quite, but I think they saw me.
Feel a little spooky, huh?
Yeah, I am a little bit.
Gotcha. Well, hey, before we get going too far, so that the listeners can understand who's speaking, go around and introduce yourselves individually here.
I'm Zach.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Kevin Jory. I hit a box.
You hit the box.
Yep.
I play the saxophone.
And I'm the guitarist, vocalist.
Very cool. And you guys have been around for quite some time. I think you guys started at least when I was a junior or sophomore in college. I know I saw you guys play at the theater a few times.
Yeah, I think so. That may have been like one of our first performances. So it's been about 4 years that we've been technically a band, I guess.
Gotcha. Well, I think that we met because my best friend Barry Johnson had a bit of a man crush on Zach Fletcher, and so he would always invite me to look at you guys, to come watch you guys play. And so I don't really think we never hung out or anything, but I very much knew who you were, and I've always enjoyed the fact that you guys were sort of like a folk indie sort of dreamscape sounding band with a saxophone, and I always thought that was really cool. Mike, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So what have you guys been up to outside of traveling to I guess we're still sort of in Central Ohio, aren't we? Never mind. Traveling to Mansfield, excuse me.
We've been keeping real busy within the last year and a half to 2 years, playing shows nearly every weekend. I guess we're just trying to get relatively well established in the area, and because we have some albums coming out later this year we've been working on for a long time. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Go ahead and plug it in there.
Kevin, you want to talk about it?
Are we thinking maybe September sometime? Black Swan Festival?
I mean, I can't give it a for sure date, but I would like that a lot. So,
also another album coming out.
Yeah.
Maybe already came out. You want to give yourself a quick plug?
Oh, for me, about me. Okay.
Yeah, man.
I have a EP called Inspiration.
Okay.
Just came out. It's filled with inspirational songs as well as an original tune on there. You can feel free to go to Mike Williams on sax on Instagram, and there will be probably tomorrow there will be a link available where you can get your own copy mailed to you at home.
Excellent. And can this be found on Spotify, Bandcamp?
It
iTunes
will be.
Okay.
That'll be exclusive. So right now it's going to be exclusively old school CDs. So I know that's what a lot of my listeners, I guess you could say, enjoy is the old school CDs. But we will have it available probably 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
On all digital platforms.
Cool. And so we mentioned the Black Swamp Festival, which I don't think gets enough love outside of Bowling Green. I think that a lot of people, and I might be wrong, but I just feel like a lot of people don't know about how awesome that music festival is. And going to Bowling Green, it was a happy surprise for me to get to sort of go every year when I was there because, first of all, who doesn't love all the fried food you can eat.
Mm-hmm.
But also the music there is awesome, and they get all kinds of bands. They had the mariachi band that was on the Tiny Desk concert series by NPR. They had the Sheepdogs, who had one of the greatest rock and roll sounding songs that I've ever heard, that I can't think of the name of right now, but it doesn't matter because all of their songs are awesome. And they even had Moths in the Attic perform, correct?
That's correct. We've so I guess I'm from Bowling Green originally, so I've kind of grew up going to Black Swamp Arts Festival. So I played there in various forms, and of course there's after shows like at Howard's and Stone's Throw, and it's just kind of a weekend party kind of deal. But we've played, I guess, one of the side stages previously a couple times, and this is the first year we are on the actual lineup, and we'll be playing the big stage.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
excited.
cool. Yeah,
Yep.
that'd be really cool.
I just bought a brand new drum set basically for this.
Drum
It was
sets.
good.
Not, you won't be playing the cajon.
That's correct. Yeah, usually you'll find us doing this stuff, but for the bigger outdoor festival gigs, we like to bust that out every now and again, and it's gorgeous. It's like a 1940s World War II style drum set with wooden hoops.
Okay.
Because they were trying to conserve all the metal they could for the war, so it's got a really warm tone. We're excited to bust it out.
Yeah, that is exciting. What are the dates of the Black Swamp Festival?
So we'll be performing on the 8th, which is September 8th, I should say. That is a Sunday, but the dates go from basically that Friday through Sunday, so the 6th through the 8th. There's great music all weekend. They never disappoint. Even if you haven't heard of the acts, it's just such a great celebration of Americana and folk and country and bluegrass and all that kind of stuff. So they always do not disappoint with their lineup.
Yeah, so talk to me a little bit about, because I didn't realize that you were from Bowling Green originally,
Mm-hmm.
so you must have gone to at least sort of the first ones at least.
I mean, I don't necessarily recall what the very first one I ever went to, but I do remember, like my grandparents or my parents would take me down, and not necessarily for the music because it is an arts festival as well, so they have all these vendors from who knows where. I know all across Ohio and beyond.
Yeah, little tents set up, and oftentimes they have really good kettle corn in the.
Oh yeah,
mouth
that's
is watering, you can't see anything, but I'm frothing
right
at the mouth. Yeah.
You and me both. Peanuts.
That's one of the first stops.
Yes. Yeah. No, I just think from a small town like Bowling Green, it's one of those things that really sort of helps keep the city spirit alive, and and it's total reason for people to want to come outside of Bowling Green to Bowling Green, because you're sort of competing with the same markets of like Toledo, which is a big city, which I mean has its own struggles, but certainly it's more of a tourist attraction with the Ohio Glass Museum and all of that stuff going on, and the Mud Hens. And so it's really cool that Bowling Green gets to sort of have like a weekend that no one else really has, and they really do a great job of music there, and arts too.
Yeah. So I have seen, I don't know who, decided this, but at least on their website they say they've been elected as Ohio's best arts festival. So
is that right?
yeah,
Well, I believe it. That's
So,
awesome. That's really cool.
I don't know who decides that, but at least that's that's some good recognition.
Yeah, very cool. Well, hey, let's keep moving forward. Let's play one of your guys' songs.
Sure.
Do you have a song?
We're gonna play a song that will be on one of the recordings we're putting out eventually, called "Through the Dark." Let's go swimming in the night by the weeping willow tree. Let's disguise frog leaves as ballets,
stars collide, it seems. And then I'll think, staring through the dark, my back floating on the moonlight. How has it all become like this? I picture the faces I knew, clouds rolling, I'm losing grip. The past clouds, the present too. And then I'll sink, staring through the dark. My arms reaching, feel the pull from something above.
Wow, that was beautiful. Again, loved the saxophone, loved everything about it, to be honest with you. Talk to me a little bit about the development of that song.
Well, thank you in the first place. I've been writing songs for 10 plus years, I guess, and the chords from that song actually derived from a different song, which I would still kind of like to develop a little bit more. But I was just kind of playing around with that chord structure and stuff and came up with that nice kind of serene, kind of folky guitar strumming pattern, and that's really where it came from. I guess the lyrics kind of based on how your mind can kind of take you to places that you don't necessarily want to be, and kind of trying to navigate that and hopefully get out of it. So
the really cool thing about the writing process too is it's kind of different for each song. Like for this one in particular, we didn't just sit down and do it one day. We play 3-hour shows a lot of times, so sometimes we like to get a little experimental. So this, I think this one a lot came out of those sorts of things where you're like, hey, we're going to bust out a new one right now.
Right.
And you don't know what's going to come up. So you kind of have to react. So it came out a lot of an improv came out of that one. It was really cool.
Yeah. And then, whatever we liked just stuck, and we just kept doing it.
Sure. I guess it helps that you guys have been doing this for so long together too, right? Like
Yeah.
You sort of have expectations, not expectations, but anticipation of like what the next sort of note might be, or the next way the next phrase might sound, and stuff like that.
The musical chemistry is really outstanding. Like, it's really cool. Like, just like you said, to know what the next person's gonna do, next measure, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
It takes work
to
get there. It really does,
Yeah. But, you do so many gigs like that, it just starts to happen after a while, naturally.
Yeah. So where are most of your gigs? Are you guys still sort of in the Toledo area, or have you guys sort of ventured across state lines or southern Ohio or anything like that?
Kind of all the above, really.
Okay.
Typically, you'll find us a lot in Findlay, for the most part, but not limited to that. And then I know we played in Michigan for our first time in February. That was really cool. And then back in the fall of 2018, we were down in Cincinnati area and did a whole weekend down there as well. So
It's
doing some venturing.
Yeah. We're trying to branch out more. So you can find us mainly in Northwest Ohio, like Findlay to Toledo. Like those are kind of where our weekly gigs are. But we'd like to start branching out to other markets that are within a good driving distance.
Sure.
So
Plant some seeds.
yeah.
Youngstown, forgot about Youngstown.
Yeah, we did go to Youngstown too.
As well.
Yep.
What do you think is like the best city for your type of music, like the chill folk? Calling names out here.
I think it depends on what you're looking for. So if you're looking for like just a dinner time, music as I eat and enjoy myself, at least for me personally, I would say probably Findlay.
Yeah.
It's very receptive to that style of music as they're eating.
Okay.
But it depends. There's tons of other setups.
Right.
too.
I think it depends on like the venue too. Like some are conducive to. We're pretty adaptable as well. Like we kind of read what's going on and kind of gear what we're doing towards that. But it is nice when you're getting an audience that's very attentive and like listening to what you're doing.
Feel better as a
Yeah.
musician. I've played the 3-hour shows that you're talking about. I actually very recently played a show at a party, and yeah, they definitely weren't listening, and they weren't. It wasn't. I knew going in they weren't going to be listening.
Yeah.
Because it was like me, just like, oh, you're going to be background noise, but we'll pay you $400. I was like, okay, awesome.
Right.
And that lets you do other things that you want to do.
Right, absolutely. And I got to sort of make up stuff as I went too. So
Right.
there's definitely good moments that can come out of those things besides the paycheck.
For sure.
But my point is, it's always like it's more rewarding, I think, to be paid less money, but play a show like a house show or like something like that. I think is maybe more rewarding than being
Right.
background noise at a bar.
Yeah, it's nice to establish like genuine relationships with people that you're playing music to, and somebody can relate or whatever, and you get that relationship, and that person's more likely to actually be invested in what you're doing, which is cool.
Yeah.
I did see not too long ago, following Tyler Childers on Instagram. I don't think he posted it, but his team did or whatever. Now he has a team now, so which wasn't the case. We
Really made it.
yeah, we opened for Tyler Childers, which actually Mike Bryce and crew did as
Okay.
well at the Barn Cats and the Roots Music Club at the Clazel. Were you at that show?
I was, yes.
Okay, awesome.
I didn't
So-
realize that was Tyler Childers though.
Yeah, he was the final guy. That's
Okay.
Tyler Childers, and
I don't think at that point we knew who he. I
No.
didn't know who he was. So that's
no,
cool. I did not know.
actually a bass player we were playing with is friends with him, I guess, Ed Croft, and he got him to come out. I think he could sense like he was on the verge of breaking out.
Well, that's cool. It's definitely a resume builder.
Yeah, but anyway, this post was him playing in like this coffee shop somewhere in Kentucky, and you just see him like by a window, and everybody's back is just turned to him.
Yep.
And it's like it happens to everybody at some point, so it's not something to be
You gotta take your lashes.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that on the way down here too. Like, it's like a kind of a source of pride. How many, times you can bomb, or like, it's not even necessarily something that you did.
Yeah,
It's just that's the
just
situation,
happens.
and you gotta know how to react to it.
right.
Yeah.
And-
Well, I don't want to speak and be wrong, but I feel like the Phoenix Brewing Company audience tends to be really good. I know that Mike Bryce, when Rambling Rhythm came to play, they thoroughly enjoyed everyone, and I think you guys will be playing outside tonight because it's nice and warm.
That's great.
And
Nice.
the crowd outside is pretty receptive, and hopefully you guys, depending on the weather, which I assume is going to be nice. I haven't checked the weather today, but it should be really good, so it'll be really exciting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Something to
Yeah.
look forward to, yeah.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
outdoor gigs, too.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Plus, I don't know how cool this is for you all, but to me, I think it's cool because they brew all their own beer. So it's like beer you'll never have again.
Mhm.
Come back. But,
Right. Which we just might.
Yeah.
You gotta do the other half
Depending
of
on
the
the
tour.
show.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Do you guys want to play another song for us?
Yeah, we can.
All right, awesome. Wow. Well, again, that was really gorgeous. And I think that what's really interesting about that, the fact that you guys don't have words in it, but you're still sort of able to tell a story. And I would love to just sort of talk to you a little bit about that, because that seems so much harder to me than writing a story, a song with like 4 verses, is sort of writing something that is whole in itself without any like spoken storyline.
Yeah, I've got quite a few, I guess, guitar parts. These guys can attest to that.
Just to like
I have,
100?
yeah, probably hundreds of parts, and then, you know, something like that is just kind of stringing them together. But any kind of instrumental thing that I've come up with, and you guys definitely add to, it's, I guess, I don't know necessarily that it tells a story, but it's definitely, you know, expresses feeling and expresses emotion and kind of gives a story in that sense that maybe the listener can kind of piece together themselves. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of sort of awesome about instrumental music. I mean, even in like not operatic, but classical music, you know, it's sort of abstract art. Like you look at something and it can literally be whatever the viewer or listener wants it to mean. So, you know, you do these like sort of slow, beautiful parts, and it can kind of just be like a reflection of like a river or something, right? And then I'm sort of making this up as I go. But then you get to like the sort of quiet part where you're just finger picking at a little bit more of a rapid sort of speed, and it's like, oh, the river is rushing a little bit more. I sound like an idiot, but you know what I mean? Like it's like open to interpretation. I don't know. I thought it was awesome. So
cool.
My
Thank you so much.
Like I thought that was really cool, and that was why I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Let's is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
I mean, we can go more in depth with the releases that are coming up.
Exactly what I wanted to talk
cool.
about. So perfect. So let's go in a little bit more depth here. Talk to me a little bit about the two different albums, correct?
Yeah, so I guess the primary one, which will be our like debut studio album, we've been working at a place called DLT Studios with Nick Delatorre, who's been a good friend of mine for a long time. We've been working on that one for quite some time, almost as long as we've been like playing out as a group together. And it's been met with a lot of different pauses for a lot of different reasons, but it's also going to be like a lot more expansive than just how we play as a trio. So like Kevin's on the full kit, Mike's on sax, I'm all over the place. I've got some like electric and got synth and keys and obviously these acoustic guitar parts, and then we have string players that join us and 3 different bassists actually, because it's been so drawn out that like we've been working with one bassist, like we mentioned, Ed at the beginning, Ed Croft. He did the first kind of batch, and then another bassist, Jeff Bauk, worked on some, and then Devante Stovall, he did one for us as well. So
can we interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Did you see that Devante was in the new Oliver Hazard music video?
I did not see that.
Do you guys know who Oliver Hazard is?
I do.
I do.
Yeah.
You know why I know?
Why?
Because I live in Waterville.
Oh, okay.
Where they're from, and they have a live stream of their town hall meeting every month.
No way.
Literally, Oliver Hazard was there. Or I'm sorry, Hazard. I'm so used to like Perrysburg and everything, but they were there, and everyone in Waterville loves them. Like they showed their house. Like,
well, they're
it's
awesome.
So funny.
Yeah.
They're one of my
really
favorite
are.
bands.
It's really cool.
They've been on this podcast.
That's great.
And they were awesome. They were so cool. Mike especially was really nice. I think he like follows me on Twitter, which never asked him to do.
Brag.
But like shout out to Oliver Hazard for following me on Instagram and on So it's super cool. And just they're very sweet guys. And one of them is from Bowling Green, or not from Bowling Green. He went to Bowling Green State University. So really cool. Definitely said roll along to him, and he thought I was an idiot, which is totally fine. It was no big deal. But anyway, I was watching his their Dandelion music video, which is their new song that just came out, which is really great. So listeners, give that song a listen. But I'm watching it, and it's just a minutia of a whole bunch of different instruments, and then I see this guy with dreadlocks, and I was like, oh, that kind of looks like Devante, but you don't want to assume that it's Devante. And so I look again, I actually pause it, and I look, and then I like, oh my gosh, that's like my former, like, we lived down the hall from each other. That's Devante.
Right.
Like, super dope. And then I also see that Kathleen Shearer, is that her last name? I can't remember. She plays violin on the album.
Okay.
Or on the song, too.
Right.
So the whole thing was just awesome. It was so cool. And it's so awesome to not only know these people, but just, like, watch them, like, develop into the musicians that I knew all along that they could be. It's so cool. Including you guys, too. Like, it's just really cool to be able to be a part of that.
They do a lot for Waterville too, and their festival is coming up soon.
Yeah, that
and they get like they were saying all the awesome acts. They're getting like some national acts are coming through too. So look forward to that too. If Waterville is like a 5,000 person town, they just got made a town. So come out to that too, because it's an awesome place.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I will try and add that to my schedule. I would really like to get more into live music photography. But it's really hard considering that I have an actual day job. So, okay, back to the album now that I've had my little shout
No, I mean, well, I will say about that, like, it is so amazing, even I think for any musician from like Northwest Ohio area to have somebody that's kind of up and coming like that and finding success. Like they played at Bonnaroo, which is like a dream of mine. So you just know there's hope in your art, and just got to find the right channels and support each other and do all that. So, but yeah, so we're going to put this album out and see what happens and where it goes. So that we talked about the studio album. The second one is kind of more along the lines of what you're hearing today. Kevin does have a little more expansive of a travel kit with some cymbals and stuff, but it's basically what we do in live settings. So it's going to be all of those songs on the studio album, plus a few like bonus ones just recorded live. We did it at the BGSU studio, the newer one that's up, and it's pretty amazing space.
Yep.
So
it really is. You can hear a pin drop from like 50 feet away.
Very
it's amazing,
cool.
Amazing feeling.
Very cool. Well, hey, I see that there are people sort of hanging around our podcast studio, which means it's time for us to get out. But I would like to just say really quickly, I think you guys have a great Instagram account, and if you wouldn't mind telling people what your Instagram name is so that they can follow you on it.
Yes, it is at Moths ITA, as in Moths in the Attic. So at Moths ITA. We're also on Twitter, not quite as prolific there, but Instagram definitely, and then Facebook as well.
All right, awesome. And you can check them out. I'm hoping to be at the Black Swamp Festival, so hopefully we can all see them there on Sunday. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Open Mic Podcast. I've been with the Moths in the Attic, and I look forward to talking with you all next time.
Thanks so much.
All right, thanks for having me.